Hi, my name is Gavin. Nice to meet you. Nice to see you. Welcome back to the Talk About YouTube channel. We'll talk about anything and everything. Today we're going to talk about the Pixar's The Incredible, which was released in 2004, directed by Brad Bird. Guys, I haven't already, please hit that like button, please hit that subscribe button. As always, let's get right into the video. Alrighty. So this had a $92 million budget. Domestically, this made $261,441,092. But worldwide, this movie made $631,441,092 worldwide. That's insane. However, it's worth it. Because here's the thing. This was a fantastic film. This is a great film. I made some notes, made some things to touch on, and made some more. Because why not, right? Now, the interview scene, how we start the movie off by having that old footage of the interview is great. I love it. I think that the overall beginning tone of the movie is fantastic. I think that showing off the characters are great. I think that the character of Mr. Incredible comes off as a douche in the beginning, in my opinion. But then when he fast forwarding it, then you realize, oh, he's not a douche. He was just misunderstood because of the shit that he was going through and feeding through and all that. But then we get to Bob Potter's job, Mr. Incredible's job. And Mr. Gilbert Huff. This is funny. I love him, and I love Bob. I love that bicker back and forth. I love that Bob was trying to help an old lady with house insurance or whatever insurance they were selling. And Gilbert's that big corporate guy who can't let you do that. But that was when, before that, we had the Buddy and all that syndrome. And we'll talk more about syndrome when we get to it. But Buddy Power, Incrediboy is awesome. I think the way that they told the story is great. Unfortunately, this has been so overplayed. But what people don't understand is that they did it first. Basically, almost. They almost did it first. So, like, I get people having complaints about, well, they always do their story. But technically, Mr. The Incredible did it first in a way. Within recent knowledge, they did it first, and then Iron Man 3 and all that. So, when you're going to point fingers, you better point fingers at this movie saying that this started it, because it basically did. But Frozone, fantastic character. I think he's fantastic as a character in there. I think that Samuel L. Jackson does a phenomenal job playing him. So yeah. The wedding, they made a promise to settle down and have kids and just forget about the hero life. Which, speaking of the hero life, they had to forget about it anyway. Because they, heroes got banned. Basically, the Sokovia Accords. Before the Sokovia Accords. So, it was basically Captain America Civil War before Captain America Civil War. I love that concept. I think the concept of banning superheroes because they're dangerous is such a minute and very untouched topic that we never see in superhero movies anymore, really. And they try with Captain America Civil War, and yes, it worked in that movie, but after that movie, it kind of felt like, okay, I guess we're not going to keep doubling down on it. But, Incredibles 2, when we get to it, it does double down on it. It does keep it. So I'm happy about that. When we Frozen and Bob, Mr. Incredible, they went to go and they do this night shift thing where they just go out and they save people. But Frozen doesn't want to, Bob does. Bob's chasing the glory days, basically. Mirage is sent there for Lucius, aka Frozen, but she tells them that Bob is the one they want to go after because we'll find out later. There's a hint, there's a reason why they want Bob. I love this part. Basically, this whole movie's great. The family dynamic is fantastic. We'll continue going down this route when Mirage sends Mr. Incredible to the island, and I think this one worked, especially because it showed Mr. Incredible's smartness, showed how smart he is, showed how tough he is, how he can adapt to certain things, and I love that about Bob, I love that about Mr. Incredible. That was fantastic. They invite him to dinner to get to know him a little more, get to know everything else. After that, he goes home. He gets a new suit by Edna Mode. Edna Mode is one of my favorite characters of this movie, one of my favorite characters of Pixar. You'll know who my favorite characters are of this movie when we get to the list. But yeah, great stuff. After that, we go back to the island, and he's fighting the Omni Droid. Besides that, we get our first look at Syndrome. We don't know who he is until that. Syndrome is Buddy. Buddy is Syndrome. Mr. Incredible is Syndrome, right? He had a 0 point energy thing where he can stop anything and anyone, right? And I think that was a great touch of a character. I think him creating his own technology only to get failed by the cape later on is a fantastic story arc for Syndrome. Does it hurt for him to go away? Sure, of course it does. But I think, personally, that was a fantastic move. It was a fantastic way to say goodbye to Syndrome. Especially when Edna was saying how capes could kill you. It got Syndrome. So yeah. But great scene between Mr. Incredible and Syndrome, where they're explaining to each other what happened and how it happened and all that, and why this happened, right? Why didn't Syndrome become bad? Because he abandoned him. After that, Helen starts becoming suspicious. She goes to Edna. Edna shows Elastigirl the suits. And I think this is awesome. I think this whole family thing is awesome. Jack getting a new suit even though they don't know his powers, but yet Edna does. That's fantastic and I love it. After this, I'm going to skip to Carrie taking care of a child. Because after that whole thing in between, right? In between Edna and in between Carrie, They all go to the island. Bob, Dash, and Violet. Violet is a great character. Dash is a great character. We'll get more up in them when I get deeper into the character. But I think this is fantastic. The way so this movie is two movies. It's X-Men and it's Fantastic Four. It's more Fantastic Four than it is X-Men. Think about it. Elastigirl is Reed Richards. Violet is Invisible Woman. The Thing is Mr. Incredible is The Thing. And the Human Torch is Jet. So I think that's a cute little nod to the character. But yeah. The chemistry between Violet and Dash are on point, and I love every second of it. This is Pixar's most family adjacent movie of all time. This feels like more of a family movie than any other movie they've ever made. Yeah, you can make an argument for Coco, but Coco doesn't really dive into the family dynamic. They only dive into the dynamic of death and life and death, and what happens after you die, and what happens if you get forgotten and all that. That's what Coco is. But what this movie is family oriented and only family. And I love that. And I love that they have a friend named Rick who can pull some string and move the family, right? They've done it in the past, but now that they're still in, Bob just wants it to go straight free, no more moving, he just wants to stay there. But yeah, I made a run-dash-run joke because run, force, run, run-dash-run. The audio choices of this movie is fantastic. I think that every single choice that they made with the audio is fantastic. I think that they chose wisely on what to do, on how to do a theme, and the theme of the score, the music is great, fantastic, and I love every single moment of the score, every single moment of the audio, etc. Everything is fantastic about this. About the audio, about what they chose, how they chose to do it, and how they chose to bring it in. We'll move on to the next page, where we are close to the end, and after Elastigirl and all of them defeated, left the island, they came home just to find an Omnidroid. So Frodo and them are defeating the Omnidroid, and then they find out that Carrie said that they have a replacement for Jack. Well, do they know Syndrome is the replacement? I think that the replacement storyline works here, and at the end, again, the kid failed them. Jack is the one to defeat Syndrome. And I think that's a beautiful thing. Where he doesn't have powers, Yeah, he does. But let's rank the characters real quick. At number 17, I have Bernie Krop, played by Lou Romano. If you guys don't know who Bernie Krop is, he is the teacher of the beginning when Dash goes and pranks him with Tax. At number 16, we have Carrie McKean, played by Brett Parker. Very low there. Again, the one below are just going to be one-offs, not much to talk about. Number 15, Gilbert Huff, the boss of Bob, had to put him on here because he's the main character. But other than that, meh. Bon Voyage, he showed up during the thing, but not really memorable. I forgot to say, Gilbert House is played by Wallace Shawn. Bon Voyage is played by Dominique Lewis. Number 13, we have the principal, played by Wayne Canny. I feel like the principal played more of a role to count out the teacher, and that was better than the other characters because I feel like he actually did something substantial, made the character of the teacher look like a total whack job, and it worked. At number 12, we have the Underminer, played by John Ratzenberger. I think that if the Underminer played a better part of number 2, I think I would have liked it better. I think I would have liked him showing up here better, but like he didn't, so there's no point in really messing with that when you know for a fact that it's not gonna end well. But yeah. At number 11, this might be a little controversial. I have Dashpar. In my opinion, he wasn't really that great as a character, and he is played by Spencer Fox. Not bad, just mediocre. In my opinion, he's the weakest one in the family. All he does is walk fast and run fast. I feel like he has a better shot in number 2 than he did in number 1, but that's just my opinion. At number 10, we have Jet Parr, played by Eli Fusil and Mae Andrews, and he was just a babysitter, basically. Again, great character. Them not knowing that he had powers to show up and wreck the villain is great. I love every moment of that. At number 9, we have the Omnidroid. The Omnidroid plays a big part in both fight scenes. The Omnidroid is one of the best parts about this movie. I know I have it so above so many actual human voices, but like the Omnidroid is something special. So at number 8, we have Rick Dicker, played by Bud Lucky, and he had a presence throughout this movie, but I think number 2 does him better than number 1 did. But number 1 really showed him to be the heart behind Bob, to help Bob relocate if needed, to help the family and all that. At number 7, we have Mirage, played by Elizabeth Pena. I think that Mirage did a great job of being a character to get in Bob's ear to help Syndrome. I know that Mirage, at the end of the day, got discarded pretty early on because of Syndrome. Syndrome said he knew that he wouldn't do anything to Mirage, but still, got discarded nonetheless. At number 6, we have Violet Parr, played by Sarah Vowell. Violet is an interesting character. I think that she's a great character, a fantastic character. I just think that she lacks some more characteristic development. But out of all the kids, she was the one who really shined the most. Her being nervous and then her taking control, taking charge, and helping the family. Yeah, that's a great story arc. It's a great way to round up her story arc. and I'm happy about that. But at number 5, to kicking off our top 5 list, at number 5 we have Wish Is Best, aka Frozone, played by Samuel L. Jackson. Now, Samuel L. Jackson did a great job playing this character. This character really gets overlooked when we're talking about Sam Jackson's career. When we talk about Samuel L. Jackson's career, we talk about Nick Fury, we talk about everything else. We don't talk about Frozone enough. And I feel like we should start talking about Frozone. Because I think that Frozone may or may not be his greatest character of all time. Sorry, my paper. I don't care, I'm keeping this in, it's funny, so, but yeah. At number 4, we have Buddy Pine, aka Syndrome, played by Jason Lee, and I loved Syndrome in this. Syndrome is the best character to come out of this movie to be a villain. Again, he has the best story arc when it comes to villains in the Pixar universe. This one's probably the best one. And this one had a legit reason other than the other one, which they just switched up. I'm looking at you, Stinky Pete. You don't do shit till like the last 20 minutes. Number 3, we have Animal, played by Brad Bird. If you guys don't know, Brad Bird is also the guy who directs this movie. So that's a cool little nod. At number 2, we have Bob Parr, aka Mr. Incredible, played by Craig T. Nelson. And I think that Craig does a phenomenal job in everything that he does. And in this movie is no exception. He is fantastic in this movie. He is wonderful. All the voice acting is fantastic. I think all the voice acting does great and phenomenal. But at number 1 we have Helen Parr, aka Elastigirl, played by Holly Hunter. She's my favorite character of this movie because you can sympathize with her being the mom. And you can sympathize with her being the wife of Bob and all that. And you can get where she's coming from. And Holly Hunter does a great job with really enunciating her displeasure or enunciating the way that she feels through her voice, through just the way she talks, just the way she is in the movie. But really quick, let's go into the ratings. The story for our plot gets an 8 out of 10. The characters / development get an 8.5 out of 10. Voice acting gets a 10 out of 10. The animation and visual style gets an 8 out of 10. Action sequences get a 9 out of 10. The humor / tone gets a 6 out of 10. It was a little rocky because the humor didn't really match with the timing. I felt like the tone was all over the place, but yet stayed with the family tone a lot. But other than that, it was really like all over. We have music score. I gave that a 9 out of 10. Themes and messages gets a 9.5 out of 10. Felt like the message of family really came through. The pacing and engagement gets a 10 out of 10, and the rewatchability and legacy gets a 10 out of 10. Overall, my score is 8.8 out of 10. And that is it for me talking about this movie. Let's talk about it a little more in the comment section below and let me know what do you think about this movie? Let's talk about it. Let's interact with. Give me your rating. Give me your rankings of a character. How you feel, and I'll catch you in the next one. Goodbye.